My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Samas, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Well, hello there, and welcome to WTA Weekly. We are very, very close to the WTA Finals, and you are going to be spoiled for all the content as we big up the finale to the women's tennis season. And we'll be doing some of that on the show a little bit later once we've wrapped up everything that's happened last week. But I do want to say welcome back, Biola. Biola, welcome to WTA Weekly.
Hi. Yes, it has been a really, really long time. It's been good to be on the show again.
Yeah, it's great, and it's great to have someone who's just as excited about tennis as I am coming to join us and talk about everything that's happened. So let's get into the action from last week. And Tokyo is where everyone was paying attention to, at least if you were in the right time zone to watch the matches. In my case, it was a bit of a struggle at points.
It was here too.
Really, like 4 a.m. tennis, 5 a.m. tennis.
4, 5 a.m. tennis, yeah.
Worse if you live in the US, where it's probably going to be like midnight tennis to start. So, oh well. At least the Japanese fans had a lot of fun, and it's great to get some tennis in their time zone for once. So let's talk about it. So the headline in terms of the champion is Belinda Bencic, who wins her second title of the year, another 500, having also won Abu Dhabi. Again, solid tournament from her, and she gets herself up to number 11 in the rankings. Won't break top 10. Alexandrova's got that pretty much held on to. But for me, Biola, Bencic has to be one of the stories of the season when you kind of look beyond the kind of the bigger names on tour, given that from outside the top 400 to almost top 10 is quite the achievement, coming back pretty much exactly a year after returning to the tour from maternity leave.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing, really. And there are the WTA awards at the end of the day, at the end of the year, and there's the Comeback Player of the Year award. I believe she should be winning that award hands down, to be honest. And it's never easy having a child and bouncing back into anything. I am saying so because I'm a mother myself, and I know how hard certain things where after I had my child and I had to do them all over again. It's a struggle, but she basically came back and it was like she never left, really. We know how well she did at the Australian Open, that, really tough match against Osaka, where Osaka eventually retired from the match. She was on fire from the beginning, then getting to Abu Dhabi and winning it. It was amazing, really. So building your ranking from outside the top 400 to world number 11, pretty close to top 10, really. I don't know. It's just amazing. And she's doing this in her late 20s as well. We need to consider that. It's incredible. So I think Belinda Bencic fought for this title so much. She had to play over 3 hours against Karina Mukova, had to play another 3 sets against Sophia Kenin. She really fought for it. And then going into a final against Linda Noskova, who was very fresh. I think Noskova played just one completed match all tournaments before the final, and she still won it. So Belinda Bencic deserves all the accolades she's getting. She deserves so much praise, and I will be so shocked if she doesn't win the Comeback Player of the Year awards this year.
I can't think of anyone else who would fit that award more. Like who else would be in contention for that award? I don't know. I'm stuck off the top of my head now.
No, same.
Yeah. There's probably a few people in there in the mix that I'm probably massively overlooking, but certainly no one anywhere near the top 20 in the rankings. So Belinda Bencic you are right, has to be the favourite for that Comeback Player of the Year award. And I also think you're right. Like, if you look at her journey, she gave us the most entertainment during this WTA Finals. Like, well, not WTA, but during this Tokyo tournament. Like, Kenin rivaled her. Like, they had a good semi-final, and that went 3 sets. And then Kenin and Bencic both had really tough quarterfinals that went right down to the wire.
Yeah.
But I think that Bencic Mukova quarterfinal was probably my favourite match from this week.
Probably the final before the final.
Yeah. Oh, you think Mukova would have won it if she'd beaten Bencic?
No. I don't think so. I don't think so. Mukova's body tends to break down sometimes, and I think that's one of the factors as to why she probably didn't even win that match. But yeah, I think that was just a final in my head. It could have been the final, really, but unfortunately, it was a quarterfinal match. It was the best match of the tournament, like you mentioned.
Yeah, for this week. Yeah. No, to be fair, if you say the final before the final, you could say that might have been Kenin, given how well Kenin was playing. Mind you, Linda Noskova, this is her second final in 3 weeks, 3 tournaments, because she got the Wuhan final a couple of weeks ago. It feels like her form's really picking up, and she's just cracked top 20 finally in her young career. She's still 20 years old, 20 and 20. And yeah, I think there's still a lot of hope for the talented Czech. What do you think, Viola?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we even first have to talk about how talented the Czechs are, right? There are so many talented young Czech players, and Linda Noskova has been coming, building her ranking in the last couple of years. She's had some pretty big wins. Remember that amazing win against Iga Swiatek at the Australian Open. She's gotten a number of top 10 wins, beaten a lot of big players, and yeah, I think she at some points this season couldn't find some consistency, but has found it again towards the end of the season. And yeah, the Sky, I mean, there's so much she can still do. She's a very dangerous player against anybody. I don't think anybody really likes to face Linda Noskova. So going into the season, next season, knowing how she has built her rankings again, she's going to continue to be dangerous.
Yeah, I think she will be a factor in there. If she keeps growing in the way she does, we might be finally about to see peak Noskova, which we've seen glimpses of, and I've liked.
Yeah,
I've seen.
Yeah, I definitely have over the years. Even before this year, there were some losses she had this year that were really shocking to me. To be honest, like I said, she couldn't find some consistency at some point, and you just know this isn't Noskova. I don't think she was struggling with some injury at some point, but she just wasn't in a great state. But it's good to see she's ending her season on a high, and she deserves it, really. Looking forward to what 2026 holds for her.
Yeah, and also looking forward to what 2026 holds for Belinda Bencic as the comeback player in 2025. Like, what can she achieve next year? Is she going to get top 10 back? She's got some points on the table that she could potentially break back in, although she did start the season really, really strongly last year. So we're going to have to look for maybe the points in the year where like she got a bit injured, like maybe around the sort of clay swing. I think I remember she dropped some points. So there's points on the table there for her. But she's definitely a dangerous player and multiple Grand Slam semi-finalists now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does as well. Still got some prime matches left in her. Lots of the top 20's got a lot of potential in it when you look sort of past that sort of 11 spot downwards to cause some big breakthroughs next year.
Yeah, the rankings right now are intense. Before we even go into the WTA final race, which was amazing, really competitive, I think the WTA top 15 is so packed, and they all had a really good year. If we look beyond the top 10, After Alexandrova, there's of course Belinda Bencic, like you mentioned. There's Clara Tauson in there. There's some really, really big names that didn't even make the WTA finals that we almost can't find somehow. And that just shows you the quality we have in the WTA. Belinda Bencic made the Wimbledon semi-finals, and in a year that she came back from having a child, that's amazing. So who says she can't do that or even better that next season as well? Like you said, she definitely has some points to defend, but there are also a lot of points for the taking as well. We don't know how consistent Ekaterina Alexandrova will be, sitting at 10th position at the moment next year. So I think it's going to be a big time battle in that top 10, top 15, top 20 next season.
Definitely. Do you miss the WTA Tournament of Champions? Bit of a random question, but thinking about sort of how packed it is, like that tournament would have been a lot of fun if that was still happening this year.
Yeah, it would have been. There's the WTA Elite Trophy that would have been great. Would have seen maybe Mira Andreeva, would have been seen Ekaterina Alexandrova, Clara Tauson, Belinda Bencic in that as well. Maybe even Linda Noskova too. So that would have been another WTA finals in itself. It would have been so tough, really, and that was one of the tournaments you cannot predict who would win. So why did that even disappear in the first place? They should bring that back.
I mean, it was fun on paper. I think it was probably just a little bit too much for maybe some of those players. I mean, it was a great momentum builder for some of them. I think Ash Barty famously used it as a launching point for her great year in 2019, like she won it the year before. But I do think maybe it was just like it didn't get a lot of traction with maybe more kind of casual tennis fans or anything else. Or the players were like, no, I don't want to play one more tournament. Who knows? Maybe it was just one of those things that, just wasn't as popular as we'd like to think it was. But the concept was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you like it. I like it. I believe many people liked it as well.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of fun. So let's do this. WTA Finals. So the other story from Tokyo was that Elena Rybakina snatched the last spot in Riyadh from Mira Andreeva. She got the job done. The aim for her was to win 2 matches to qualify. And she did that, beating Leylah Fernandez and Victoria Mboko, 2 players who she had match points against and lost to during the North American summer swing. That was, those were some tough losses. So I like this revenge arc for her to come through some of her toughest opponents to qualify. But yeah, I guess my question, Biola, is how surprised are you that it is actually Rybakina who is that 8th player to make it in?
I am surprised and not surprised at the same time. Surprised because a couple of months ago, she wasn't really looking the part. I don't think she was even, top 12 in the race, but somehow she has found her way there. In my eyes, I felt like the WTA finals were set already. I looked at it and it almost looked like it was set. And if I had been told even last month that Mira Andreeva wouldn't make the WTA finals, I would have disagreed big time. So yes, she fought for her place there. You mentioned the word snatch, which I feel is a very befitting word. Winning 2 WTA 500, she wanted that place and she got that place. To be honest, it would have been weird not having Elena Rybakina in the WTA finals. It really would have been. And this is one of those years you wish the WTA finals picked like 10 players and not 8, because I feel like the other 2 players in the top 10 or in the race at the moment also deserve to be there. But, you have to take advantage of the situation. And that was something Mira Andreeva really didn't do. That was something Rybakina took heads on, and she deserves to be there. So it was also good to see that she's playing better as well. That definitely got her here, and she's ready for the WTA finals. Very ready.
Yeah, definitely. She's coming into form at the right time if she wants to compete for the title in Riyadh. That is for sure. And it's just coming to my head as you were talking there, Viola, that we're talking about Rybakina's CV from this year is not as impressive in terms of title wins compared to some of her peers. Like, it's more comparable with Jessica Pegula, like a couple of 500s, couple of big semi-finals here and there. Pegula's got to some 1,000 finals though this year, so that helps her case. And Rybakina's really mainly been performing at the 500s, to be honest. But it has to be said, if this is what you consider an off year for Rybakina, and she's still top 8, what happens when she's not having an off year? Because that suggests that she's still pretty scary good.
Exactly. She is still scary good. She's still one of the best players in the world. And, my husband is a big tennis fan as well. And we're always talking about it here in the house as to how really Rybakina hasn't won a second Grand Slam title yet. And, I think she still has it there in her. She's beyond winning only the 500s, little, of course, the 500s is a little title, but, she deserves bigger titles. And if, like you mentioned, this is her off year, then we know that her on year, maybe next year, can be a lot better. Maybe winning more 1,000s, getting to more Grand Slam finals, maybe winning another Grand Slam title finally. But yes, you might look at how she performed this year, what she won, and feel like she didn't deserve a spot here, but she did. She earned it really. She fought for it, especially towards the end here, and yeah, I think she also has put herself in a good position to perform well at the WTA Finals, because there's really nothing like going into this kind of tournament in great form.
Yeah, and it's going to help her a lot, and that's where a lot of previous winners have kind of benefited from that tournament. So we'll definitely get your thoughts on that when we look at the field. Yeah, Rybakina definitely one of the stars of the tournament. Maybe some will be disappointed that she pulled out the semi-finals. I think it was a very sensible decision on a pragmatic basis.
Really.
Yeah, absolutely didn't need to win it. Didn't need to take anything out of her. Needs to get the job done. Let's talk about Andreeva. So doesn't make it despite winning 2 1,000s this year, which is like in my mind crazy. In 2 1,000s and just miss out on qualifying for the WTA Finals. Do you think that can be mitigated though by the fact that apparently, according to Ellen Perez, she wasn't able to get into Tokyo? She didn't get a visa, and so that meant that she couldn't enter the tournament. Like, they couldn't give her a wild card or anything like that, because Tokyo would have absolutely loved to have a big 3-way showdown for those final spaces if they could have. And all eyes being on them. So do you think that she would have been handicapped by that, or are you pessimistic enough about her form that you don't think she would have got over the line?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think so much would have changed if she had played Tokyo, because I think we have all seen how Mirandreva has played since Wimbledon. She definitely hasn't been the same since that Wimbledon quarterfinal match. Was the quarterfinals? Yes, against Belinda Bencic. To be honest, I feel like that was even a run I didn't expect. She hasn't quite been the same since that Roland Garros quarterfinal match against Louis Bossuan. I think since then she's had, a lot of outbursts on court, and that has affected her results as well. But she's not been as consistent as she was early in the season, and I don't think she would have made such a deep run in Tokyo, to be honest, especially with how other players were playing there. It was a really competitive field as well. I mean, we just talked about Belinda Bencic winning it. We saw how even Sofia Kenin played over there. So it would have still been really tight for her. Of course, we never know. We can never know since she didn't play, but all we can do is guess. I don't believe she would have taken so much advantage of the situation, but it would have been good to see regardless.
Yeah, I think I understand. I'm not saying the Roland Garros quarterfinal didn't have an impact, but I don't think it mattered at Wimbledon, because I thought Andreeva was playing some of the best tennis in the field by the time we got to the quarterfinals, and actually that match with Bencic was pretty close.
It was.
I think she was focused up to then. I think it's just that she expected so much of herself because, you know, she looked like she might be moving herself into that sort of fourth place behind Swiatek and Sabalenka and Goff as being the fourth person in that mix. And then expecting her to do that at this age was maybe too much. And
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, why am I not getting past this point? Like, I think it was kind of that plus that could have impacted. But I don't know what's going on in some teenagers' head. There could be a lot of off-court stuff that we don't know about that was bothering her.
Yeah, but you know, it's a very competitive WTA and it's a tight schedule as well. This was probably the busiest year of her life, you know, the busiest season of her life. And we have to consider she's 18 years old, has been on this tour fully for just 2 years. And really, you know, all of that might have just taken a toll on her. And finishing the year in the top 10 and almost making the WTA finals is still a win, really. It's still huge, especially for her age. And she still has a lot of chances, really. I still believe Mirandjeva can make the WTA finals next year, you know, next 2 years. She has a whole lot of time. But yes, it would have been good to see her here for the first time. And it would have been good, you know, for her to get that kind of experience. But I think many people should probably just cut her some slack. She's still pretty young. There's still time. And I just hope going into the season, she can learn to control her emotions on court better. We saw that especially, you know, since Wimbledon, how, you know, she would swing and throw her racket. She would cry. She cried a lot against Laura Sigmund some weeks ago. That was really concerning. And like you mentioned, maybe there are some things happening off court that we don't know about. But I think Mirandjeva has done so well this season. I can't say she's done anything wrong, really. At the end of the day, we need to consider how competitive this field is. We're just talking about even Alexandrova coming so close, you know, to getting there as well. How Belinda Bencic could possibly have gotten there. The WTA is packed. It really is packed.
It really is. And that's what's going to make this WTA final so exciting. I mean, let's face it, Mira could also take part in the singles. She's going as the first alternate. We still don't know what Madison Keys' situation is. There's usually at least one person who pulls out of these events. Pegula did last year, and there wasn't injury really on the cards until then. So you never know what players are carrying. She could take part in one or two round robin matches in the singles, and she's qualified for the doubles. So she's definitely going to be getting some matches in at Riyadh alongside Diana Schneider as the fifth best team in that mix. So she's still going to get a lot of good experience from being at Riyadh. So actually, in the grand scheme of things, like, it's not an all it's lost kind of scenario.
Yeah.
She's still going to get a lot out of going to that event, being part of it, soaking it in, and that might be motivating.
I mean, we did mention it earlier that we are really not sure of Madison Keys' form going into the WTA final. She hasn't played since the US Open. To be honest, at some point, someone was really sure she would be going to Riyadh until she posted on Instagram a few days ago, okay, getting ready for Riyadh. And I thought, oh, okay, then she is playing. So I guess that was her way of telling everyone, I'm playing, I am not pulling out. But we really don't know how exactly or how many matches she can play there. So Mirandjeva would, of course, be standing by. She has doubles to play as well. And we also need to consider that she was actively playing singles and doubles this year and thriving on both sides. So, you know, that's another thing that could have taken some gas out of her towards the end of the season. Yeah, that's a big factor as well. But yeah, Mirandjeva will still get the feel of Riyadh, and hopefully next year she can, you know, qualify outright.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of excitement about Riyadh. Let's get your thoughts on it. So obviously we're going to be doing a lot of preview coverage on the channel for WTA Finals because we've got the draw coming out on Thursday, and we're planning on doing a reaction to that. We are going to be doing a WTA Weekly on Friday to do a full preview of the show. So I don't want to do of the event, which starts on Saturday, the 1st of November. So I don't want to get too deep into predictions right now. it's hard to talk about, especially when especially since I think this is an event where we need to know the draw, because we need to know what groups everyone's in, and then we can kind of see what matchups the group might produce, and then you see what the matchups you're going to get in the semis, and then that will decide who the final's going to be, and it might come down to that ultimate matchup. So let's but I want to get your thoughts, Biola, on who you think might win the WTA finals.
Oh, that's so hard, really. That's so hard. I definitely can't just mention a name. There's no way I'm blurting out one name because we've talked about how competitive the field is, how everyone has had a really strong year. Arina Sabalenka, of course, she's the queen of hard courts at the moment, and this is a hard court tournament, and she's the world number one for a reason. I've had a stellar year. Iga Swiatek didn't start the year great, but found her form again. Coco Golf is Coco Golf, and she's the defending champion as well. Despite her issues with her serve this year, she has still found a way here. She has still won a Grand Slam title. I mean, there's Madison Keys, who was the feel-good story of the year, winning the Australian Open, made us start the year in such a beautiful way. There's Amanda Anisimova, oh my goodness, one of the best players of the year, Grand Slam finals 2 times this year, didn't even get discouraged by getting double bageled in her first Grand Slam final, backed that up spectacularly with another Grand Slam final, won a title after that. This is such a packed field. It's amazing, really. Jessica Pegula, who is one of the most solid players on tour, one of the most consistent, reliable players on tour. Jasmine Paolini, who many have underestimated and thought she was not going to, be able to replicate her year from last season. Of course, she didn't reach 2 Grand Slam finals again, but she did win some big titles. She showed that she's truly here to stay. And she also was one of those players who really fought for a WTA final spot towards the end, in the last few weeks, last month or two. So it is so, so hard. There is no way I can predict this, so easily. But I would say, if I were to just mention a name, I would say Arina Sabalenka, the best player in the world.
I mean, why not? I mean, this is a tournament that she really wants to win right now, because it's kind of the last big tournament that's kind of not on her resume. And she's kind of fallen short. She's lost the champion the last few years, because she lost to Caroline Garcia in the final 2022 when they were in. Was that? Yeah, I can't remember what it was that time. In 2022, she then played, and then she lost. Was that? It might have been Guadalajara that year.
I think it was Guadalajara.
Yeah, and it was definitely Guadalajara in 2021. Cancun in 2023, she loses to Swiatek in the semi-finals.
Yeah, one of the matches of the tournament. That match.
Yeah, that was such a good so good for a straight sets match. That one.
So good.
It was Fort Worth she lost to Garcia in 2022. 2023 was Cancun. Yeah, you're right. That Swiatek match was a really good for a straight setter, and then she loses to Goff last year in the semis. So she's going to be feeling like she's going to be that player to beat. And I think if anyone beats Arina Sabalenka this tournament, they're going to feel like they can win the whole thing. So I can see why you would go to her. She's always strong at this event.
Yes, and you were talking about how we can't predict much or talk about matchups until we see the draw and 2 different groups. But I think no matter what group we place Arina Sabalenka in, she will thrive. I don't see her not making it out of round robin. And like you said, no matter if somebody manages to beat her, we can say that's probably the champion even before the final or wherever the player beats her. So yeah, I think Sabalenka really is the favorite going into this, and it's her favorite surface as well. So Arina Sabalenka is not just because she's world number one, but she's obviously biggest favorite here.
Yeah, I mean, it might depend on the group she gets. Could you imagine if she got Anna Samova, Rybakina, and Keys in her group? Like, that would be
Yes.
madness. And then it's like, that is the toughest possible group Arina Sabalenka could get. And then we're suddenly rethinking our predictions.
Yes, and Smova is one of those players she struggles against. One of those players who's a thorn in her flesh, to be honest. It's always a cracker when these two face each other. And you know how that their semi-final match at Wimbledon went. So yeah, that's going to be pretty tough. If she needs Coco Golf, if she, and Jessica Pegula, it's going to be tough no matter who she faces. I mean, they're going to be really fun, high quality matches. I think that's guaranteed.
Actually,
Definitely at the WTA final.
I'm looking at this field, actually. I think of the field, only 2 players haven't beaten Arena this year. Someone can correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure if you look at the whole 8 field, like only 2 players in the WTA final have not beaten Arena in 2025.
Swiatek hasn't beaten her this year, has she?
So she's played. So Paulini hasn't beaten her, and Swiatek didn't beat her the one time they've played this year at Roland Garros.
Yes, just once.
But then Swiatek's in their own special category because when those 2 play, they're going to both try their hardest, and it's just they've only played once, and when you've seen previous encounters, that what they can produce. So Swiatek's in her own special case. So yeah, really, it feels like almost anybody could beat her, especially since Paolini hasn't yet, but she's beaten Swiatek now. And that's what I think this goes back to your earlier. It's so competitive, and literally any one of the 8 players can win this WTA finals, and that's what makes this so exciting. Legitimately, I don't think anyone winning this would be a surprise at all.
Yeah, I don't think you would say, no matter who wins it, you say because this person didn't deserve it. Any one of these 8 players would deserve to win the WTA finals, and that's why they're here. I mean, Iga Swiatek, we were all saying she wasn't having a great year until she got to the Bad Homburg final and then won Wimbledon after that. But you look back at it and you wonder, was it really a bad year? I mean, she was getting to semi-finals and all of that, still playing some good tennis. What was missing really was a title. I could say, of course, it wasn't when you talk about her standards and the years she's had in like the last 3-4 years, that wasn't the best that Tech could produce, but it would have been stuff of dreams for any other player to be making those kind of semi-finals and getting those kind of results. But eventually winning Wimbledon that almost no one expected her to. And her year basically started from there, has won 2 other titles since then. And it's a really competitive field, really. It is when you think about it.
It really, really is. And we're going to be so excited to see how it all pans out. So there we go. It's a little bit of a teaser for some of our previews for the WTA finals coming up this week before the tournament starts on Saturday. This will probably get clipped and put out separately, but this is going to be a lot. This is going to be a lot of fun. A little bit of a preview on like Sabalenka's chances, and is she really the favorite? There's some other stories to mop up before we kind of finish the show. So let's talk about the other tournament that happened this week, which is Guangzhou, and that was won by American player Ann Lee, her second career WTA title, 3 years after her last one in 2021. I also think, when I think of Ann Lee, I actually think she got to one of the Australian Open Somerset finals back in 2021 when everything was held in Melbourne, and that match, it was against Contavate, I think, and that match didn't happen because it was rained off. So it ends up sort of sharing the title, as it were. It didn't take place, but it would have been interesting to see how she would have done against Contavate in that match. Great. Great performance for this. I think of her from that, I was like, oh, what might have been? And it's been a bit of a what might have been career since then, because she's been plagued with injuries. But it's nice to see she's got herself some good results behind her now. She's won this tournament. She had a good run at the US Open as well, getting to the 4th round. So yeah, starting to see some glimmers of climbing back up the rankings for Anne Lee. Good result. Also, thanks for the £5,
Yes,
Jack.
really good result. Yeah, also won the title without dropping a set, so that was pretty good. Had some really good matches, played some quality tennis as well. These eight WTA 250s towards the end of the tournament are for the taking, really, and she really took it. And it's always a good time for players to grab titles, and she did that. She's been gradually building almost, off radar this year, and she's gotten herself here. She could be a really, really tough cookie, a very unpredictable player, could, cause a lot of fight against some big players as well. So yeah, I think she deserves this. We need to talk about the quality in the USA at the moment. They have, quite a number of players in the top 100 that are thriving, and she's definitely one of them. We see Sophia Kenin also rebuilding her ranking. The USA is having such a great time in women's tennis at the moment. I mean, even just look at the WTA finals. We have um, Amanda Nisomova, we have Jessica Pegula, we have Coco Gauff. They're really dominating the WTA finals and have so many players, so many names that you could mention, really. So, really good one for Andy. She took advantage of a WTA 250 and she won the title. Really good.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, peaked at the right time. I think she's playing she's playing Jiangxi next. Apologies if I've pronounced that name wrong. I haven't had a chance to look up the pronunciation. I haven't had a chance to talk to my Cantonese friend who would probably know. But I appreciate because well, my friend from Hong Kong, he knows how it's properly pronounced, but Shangxi. But yeah, she's going to be the top seed there, I think. So she's got a chance to maybe continue that form there. Obviously,
Yeah.
getting back to back is very, very difficult on the WTA, and very few people manage it. And it's a very competitive field, but she's got to be feeling good going into there, especially if it's not too far away.
Yeah, she definitely will be. And as top seed, you're obviously one of the favorites as well. And playing after a title is motivation to maybe, like you mentioned, it's usually hard to win back-to-back titles like that. But she can make another deep run, and that helps her ranking as well. So at the end of the day, she's finishing her season on a high.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's one. And by mentioning Shangxi, we've got a. Still don't think that's the right pronunciation. Anyway, we've got a couple of other tournaments taking place this week as well in the run up to the WTA finals. They're both 250s. One is in Chennai in India, which I think is great to have that tournament back.
Yes, I am singing the song in my head.
Much missed. Shame they couldn't get like some bigger names in the field, but I think that's going to be an interesting breakthrough story for who's going to win that title. I think most people are going to be paying attention to Hong Kong, though, because that's where some of our bigger names are taking part. You've got Leila Fernandez there, Maya Joint is there. You've got Belinda Bencic is the top seed. She's looking to continue her form. Looking at who else they've got
Alexandra Ayala is there.
Yes.
Anna Kalinskaya is playing as well. Victoria Mboko is playing there too.
So there's some really good names in that field in Hong Kong. Kenin, there as well, taking part, and so there's some names in there that's going to be
Katie Bolter.
Yeah, Katie Bolter, Alex Ayala for me, match of the first round.
Match of the first round, really.
And no surprise that is like the prime time match they've put on. Like it's going to be starting around probably around midday UK time, so probably at 1 o'clock in the afternoon your time, Biola, in Nigeria. And you've also got if you just extrapolate that's going to be an 8 a.m. Eastern time start for that match. So yeah, that's going to be I'm going to be interested in that one. Out of interest, Biola, Ayala Bolter, that's going to be a real fight because they both they just got such competitive spirits, the both of them. Very different game styles. How do you see that one going?
Yeah, and these are two players who have, slowed down a bit in the last few months. We know how Alexandra broke through this year. Katie Bolter didn't have such a fantastic year, especially, the second half of the season. It hasn't been so great for her. But we saw, some good signs in the last couple of weeks. Alexandra as well in some 125s and a few 250s. This is like you mentioned, the match of the first round. It's going to be high quality. I am sure of that. To predict who wins it, honestly, this can swing either way.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, someone's popular. So, yeah, looking at this field, then it's going to be pretty competitive as a whole. Bencic on paper should be the favorite, but I do wonder if she'll have, like, again, going back to back is incredibly physically challenging in the WTA at the moment. So, physically challenging in the WTA at the moment. So I don't know about that. I think the names my eyes being drawn to are Leila Fernandez, who obviously has won that title a couple of weeks ago. In that 250 event in Osaka, and then also Sophia Kenin, who had a good run in Tokyo. And I think those two probably have the right amount of momentum combined with not any kind of risk of physical burnout. That would be probably those. I think it's going to be one of those two players. What do you think, Viola?
Yes, it really would be good to see Sophia Kenin make another good run and probably win a title for the first time in a while. Like I mentioned, she's steadily building her ranking again. She's really not been the same in the last few years. She struggled with injury, struggled with form, and sometimes people tend to forget that she's a Grand Slam title, a Grand Slam champion, an Australian Open winner. That was not so long ago, but it's easy to forget. So she reminds you sometimes with some, performances that she has. So it really would be good to see her make another deep run or win this title. Leila Fernandez, somehow she comes alive towards the end of the season. It seems to be her thing, really. And she's doing so again. She's played some really good matches. In the last couple of weeks. So this is a big opportunity for her as well. Victoria Mboko, she lost a number of matches after that fantastic run in her home tournament, but she seems to be rebuilding again. Got some wins, last week as well. So would be good for her to end the season and let people know she's really here to stay, and that wasn't a one-off really. So it's a packed draw as well. And when you look at it, this is probably one of the last few tournaments of the season, and we still have all these qualities. A lot of players have ended their season really in the last couple of weeks, but we still have really big names playing here. So I think it's going to be fun in Hong Kong.
Yeah, do you know what? I overlooked on Mboko. You're right. I think she's looking like she's regaining some form a little bit. And the fact she lost to Rybakina shouldn't count last week, shouldn't count against her. She's finally won a match after some injury struggles since winning that title in Montreal. She's got the game to beat everybody. So if she gets going, I could see her being one of the big favourites for the title, and I could see her winning it and backing up that Montreal win and kind of putting the kind of doubters to bed of like, oh, what happened after that? She got injured.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what happens, and especially if she starts playing some of these big names that we talked about, big-ish names that are in the draw. So yeah, absolutely. And Boca's a good pick there, Viola.
Yeah, she is. I really believe she is. Sometimes I want to look towards Anna Kalinskaya, but I don't know. Anna Kalinskaya, you really do not trust her body to end a tournament, really. There's always something, multiple medical timeouts. One, she's taped somewhere almost every time. So yeah, she's such a great player as well, and would be good to see her win some titles. But she's one of those players that are so injury prone, and you really can't trust her body to hold up. till the end of the tournament. But it would be nice to see her win this as well. Maya Joint has had such a great year. She has had such a great year. I don't think I would have thought Maya Joyce would have become Australian #1, but here we are now, and she's growing. She's still really young, but she's building her ranking. She has a good shout here as well. So this is a big opportunity for many players. Belinda Bencic, like you mentioned, you really don't know how her body can sustain her, especially after coming through some really difficult matches in Tokyo. To be honest, I expected she was going to withdraw from the tournament, and the fact that she's still in the draw is amazing, and it shows how she really wants to get as many points as possible at this end of year. But yeah, it's a really good draw over there.
Yeah. So yeah, good. Hong Kong, probably where some of the biggest stories are going to be, but definitely don't play down any of the big name sort of the breakthrough moments that people are going to have this week at the other events. Right. I think that about wraps up. Biola, is there any stories you think we need to cover before we stop?
No, just really looking forward to the WTA finals. I am itching to talk about it, but like you mentioned, we're still going to have WTA final previews, and we are looking forward to seeing the draws, the groups, and then we can fully talk about it. But I am itching for that tournament to start like right now. So that's really what I'm looking forward to seeing now. And of course, there's men's tennis as well.
I'm kind of with you there, Biola. I'm kind of with you there. I'm hyped for it to start, and it starts on Saturday. We've got plenty of exciting moments to look forward to, and we will be looking forward to them a lot this week. So to recap, we are going to have a draw reveal episode. Not that we are exclusively being having the draw revealed, although that would be cool. On Thursday, we will be then doing a full WTA Weekly episode to do a full preview of the event on Friday, and then the event itself will kick off on Saturday, hopefully with some watch-alongs. So, Biola, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your thoughts about tennis this week. It's been great to have you on and talk tennis with you. And I think a lot of people want to have you back and find out a bit more about you.
Yeah, good to be on the show as always. My name is Biola Soyishchuko. I am Nigerian. I live in Lagos, Nigeria. I do not play. I cannot play tennis to save my life. Unfortunately, I really wish I could, but I don't play. I watch a lot of tennis though. I mean, they call me the tennis crazy lady for a reason. I consume so much tennis. So yeah, I just love tennis. I talk about tennis more than any other thing, to be honest. So yeah, follow me on social media. I am always talking tennis.
Excellent. That's exciting. All right, go follow Biola on TikTok or anywhere else on social media that you might have. So
yes,
we will leave you there. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you.
I just saw a comment that made me laugh. Yeah. I'm not going to mention it. No,
I know which comment you're talking about. So yeah, go catch up with Biola. Hopefully she'll be back on the show at some point, or a Talking Tennis stream. And yeah, we'll see you for all the WTA finals build up. I'll catch you for some of that. See you soon. In the meantime, take care and keep talking tennis.
See ya.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.